Hey there, my name's Jesse, and you're listening to the Deep Lore Boys podcast, where Jackson, Matthew, and I delve into the random, rare, and usually ridiculous pieces of human history.
Oh man, guys, time to gear up for invasion, pizza party.
He got out only one cheer. Go Dallas.
77 years later, the Olympic flag was never found.
What's someone who's 80 called? Like an octogenarian?
Gentlemen, let's give this fella the intro that he deserves.
Do we gotta do the classic, the bit? Fellas, you may not believe it, but we have a guest on tonight. So everyone, ladies and gentlemen, Christian on the podcast, everybody.
Woo! Christian on the podcast!
Let's go!
Christian on the podcast, everybody.
Dubs. I am so excited. You've no idea.
We have had this man floating around as like we need to have him as a guest. We should have him as a guest. Finally, after so long.
After eon.
Like, way longer than it should have been. We've finally gone and done it.
Christian, tell us a little about yourself.
I am definitely a person. I absolutely love learning about random crap. I fell in love with this podcast immediately. Also because
all we talk about is random crap.
Random crap.
I mean, to be fair, that is all we talk about.
That is literally the podcast.
I'm a storyteller. I'm a holder of lore, and I have used this podcast as my sources of cool things to know about. And I am proud to finally be adding to the collection.
One of the articles that you sent when we gathered to record this episode was Bremen. And just looking at the picture of this guy, I'm curious. He was an umpire?
Barry Bremen is a scam artist.
It looks like he was
He's
a lot
a
of
con
things.
artist. This man...
I love a good con artist. Actually, I take that back. I'm not a big con artist fan.
All right, I need to say this right away before anybody else does. Barry Bremen's nickname was the Great Imposter.
Wow! What did he do to earn such a title?
Holy crap, dude.
So this man, he has impersonated an insane amount of people, specifically referees. He posed as a basketball referee, a baseball referee, a football referee. He actually just joined a golf tournament. He just walked onto the tee and just started playing golf. He actually went up and received an Emmy Award that wasn't his.
No. What?
This dude, he just thought it was hilarious, and he did it all the time.
He is also the biological donor father of at least 40 children.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay. I'm glad that you specified that, because I saw that he had at least 40 kids, and I was like, wow, he was putting this impersonation stuff to good use.
So here's the funny part. His official job title is an insurance and novelty goods salesman.
Wow.
And in his spare time, he impersonated referees at major sports games.
Yeah, from 9 to 5, I'm your insurance salesman, marketing executive, and novelty goods salesman. But on the weekends, I am a professional golfer, Emmy Award winner, umpire, referee.
This guy's like Spider-Man, dude. He's like Peter Parker.
He's Batman.
Dude.
So let me start off with some of his impersonations.
Yeah.
So he donned an official's jacket and stood with the real officials during the national anthem prior to Game 5 of the NBA Finals at the Boston Garden. And then he did baseball stuff. He did a ton of baseball stuff. He dressed as umpires at the 1980 World Series, and he walked out to home plate during the start of the game. He actually went out as a player and caught balls in the outfield during a pregame warm-up for the Mets.
How difficult would this be for us to dress up as one of the Bills players and just head on down to the field?
You would die.
Nowadays it would be insane.
Like...
This is from 1979 to 1986 he did this. Speaking of football, I got to tell you guys about the time he dressed up as a cheerleader.
Oh, well, we gotta go over that.
No.
I'm just
gotta
gonna
go over
read.
that.
I'm gonna read this straight from the Wikipedia. This is unreal. On December 16th, 1979, Bremen posed as a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader at a Cowboys-Redskins game at Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas. In preparation, Bremen lost 23 pounds.
What?
Practiced drag
what?
routines with his wife and had a replica Dallas Cowboys cheerleader uniform custom made. He shaved his legs and spent $1,200 of his own money to pull this off.
I love that his
And
wife
this was in the
helped
70s.
him.
This was before inflation. So $12,000 or like $1,200, like that's a lot.
That's a wild amount of money.
That was like
What?
4 times as much back
Dude,
then.
So
Like,
they filed a $5,000 lawsuit and then tried to have him banned from all Cowboys games for life? Like, dude, this man just trolled them so hard. Like,
During the game, Bremen burst onto the sidelines in boots, hot pants, falsies, and a blonde wig. He got out only one cheer, "Go Dallas," before Cowboy security had him handcuffed.
I mean, there's an
That's
image of him,
incredible.
and it's pretty easy to tell that
There's
he's,
an image?
There's an image of him, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that picture is incredible.
That's
Wait. Is there an image?
Holy
I'm putting this up on
crap.
it's
screen.
an image. Boom, I
Holy
sent it
crap.
over. That's
Wow. Look at how smooth his legs are.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
No, he went all out.
Go Dallas. Go
Dude.
Dallas.
the only
I
thing that would have
wonder-
made this better is if he said, "This is our year."
This is our
This is our year.
Not only did he have to spend over $1,000 to do this, but then he got fined $5,000.
Yes.
Sort of an expensive stunt.
It was
I would
worth
say
it,
it's worth it.
Jackson. It was worth it.
It got him onto the deep lore, boys. It was worth it. Okay.
Got him on the podcast.
This guy was 6'4". He was a tall fella.
Yeah, being 6'4" though and trying to sneak into places is not easy. Like, I'm telling you as someone who's 6'1", like this is not an easy feat to do. To just
But he
sneak
was
around.
I don't know.
6'4".
I think height doesn't have that much of an impact on it.
Like how are you gonna disguise yourself as a cheerleader being 6'4"? Like,
he can pull it off. He's fine. Okay.
He probably
Like,
just
it's
wore
okay.
a dark jacket and stood in the audience, and then when it was his time, he took it off and joined in.
Yeah.
He got
That
a
makes
trench
sense.
coat.
That's the thing. Is like
He's got the pom poms like stashed in there. in the
Why
pockets.
not? I don't know.
Yeah. God, this guy is hilarious.
Now the Emmy Awards. Jackson, do you want to take the
This
Emmy
is
Awards?
interesting.
he stood up while they announced the Supporting Actress Award for Betty Thomas in the movie Hill Street Blues. He got up, took the Emmy, and said that Betty Thomas was not there to accept the award, but that like he was going to give it to her later. And he was arrested and fined $175, which is not that much for
That's
like
not that bad.
basically stealing an Emmy.
He later apologized to Thomas, telling her he had really thought she wasn't there to accept her reward.
She was there. I guess she was actually there, and he just took it from her before she could get up there.
Because he was in the front row, so he was evidently waiting for it.
How did he get in the front row?
And that's the more
Dude,
impressive
again,
part.
I mean,
Nobody is at
it's-
the Emmys.
no
No one
no-
cares. Like they pay people to go there.
Do they really?
No, I don't know, but I
Probably,
wouldn't be
I don't know.
surprised. They're like,
but-
hey, will you please come to the Emmys?
So here's the thing. So that's his funny things, but he actually did something really impressive, and that's when we get onto his golf antics. He said that out of his stunts, he was proudest of his golf antics. So in the 1979 U.S. Open, he sneaked onto Inverness Club in Toledo, Ohio, and played practice round with Wayne Levi and Jerry Pate.
And he was so bad that they got, what did they kick him out? He played so poorly in a practice round that a spectator asked the U.S. Golf Association's P.J. Boatwright Jr. how such a lousy golfer had made it through qualifying.
Oh, that's not
But then,
nice.
here's the
Okay.
thing. He comes back 6 years later, and evidently he's been practicing or something because everything changes here.
So I love this.
Dude, did
I
he
love-
pop
it says
off?
there's this expert from something. I think it's a quote. Fred Couples. He's quoted in saying he comes out of the shrubs on the second hole and hits this tee that buzzes the spectators. He had this big wig on and a visor and looked kind of out of place. We didn't care. He just did his deal and had a great time. It didn't take long for people to scream out, "Who is that guy?" I mean, the cat was out of the bag after a couple holes, but we didn't get in trouble and no one came out to get him.
So they knew full on, like, Chief, I don't think this guy's supposed to be here.
But they just let him play, and he did pretty good his second time around.
That's great. See, this is what I feel like they should have let him do.
You know, I do feel like to a point, some sports leagues, no, I get there would be like an injury thing. Like, I mean, obviously I can't just run out there and play football with like the Bills.
Yeah.
But like, part of me is like, why not? Why not for just one game, for just one play? Just dress
to
up
be
in
honest with
gear
you,
and go out there.
That's kind of what the US Open is. There's tryouts for anyone, and you can just play. And if you're good enough, you'll get through. Hence why in the first time he tried, he wasn't good enough and he didn't make it through. Everyone was like, what? How is he even here? But the second one, he played well enough that nobody really cared because it was entertaining.
At the 10th hole, Bob Eastwood joined the group. We played as a fivesome. That's when I got a little nervous, Bremen said. All they said was, we don't mind you playing as long as you keep the ball in play. Bremen claimed to have shot a 77. I don't know what that means.
It's pretty decent.
Okay, Bremen said that out of all his stunts, he was proudest of his golf antics. I was out there for the longest time, and I was never caught. Wow.
It's incredible.
I like how he told everybody else not to do it. He literally said to everyone else, I can just quote him here, "Don't do it. It's against the law. Stay away. This is my act." Like, he's just... This guy is great. Looks like was great. We should say rest in peace.
Yeah.
Looks like...
Yeah, he passed away in
2011.
2011.
It's 64.
Whole stack.
Oh, rest in peace, man.
I'm always attracted toward ninjas. Well, not in like a sexual way, but
oh, okay. I was gonna say, I was like, did we just learn something about you?
Yeah, I see a ninja of Heisei in the articles docket here, and I'm curious.
This reminds me a ton of Phoenix Jones, just more interesting, honestly. Unfortunately, he was not a hero. He was a villain.
He was an evil ninja?
He was an evil ninja.
Oh, but he wasn't an evil ninja No, he was. He could have fought Phoenix Jones. He operated from 2009 to 2017. So
unfortunately, he was in Japan, so...
Well, I
imagine they
distance
did
is no
combo.
obstacle.
They could meet in Hawaii and do like a Phoenix Jones versus Ninja.
So, but here's
battle.
I wanna go through everything that he did and then tell you the most interesting thing about this man. There's not a whole lot to him, but the reveal is killer.
Okay.
So this dude, the number is astounding. He was charged for over 254 break-ins.
Oh. Wow.
With the amount stolen approximately, oh my gosh, I believe that's 30 million yen. Somebody look up the exchange rate.
Yeah, can we get that?
The exchange rate.
Chat, what's the exchange rate?
It's coming out to about $200,000.
That's still a ton of money.
That's a lot. That is a lot.
So he would break into places all over Japan wearing a ninja outfit.
So he dressed up as a stereotypical ninja, and he did things like navigating tight spaces and running on walls and like doing cool acrobatics, which is really neat. But the craziest thing is that when he did this, he was 80 years old. 80 years old. The man was ancient. And he did it for 2 years, from the ages of 80 to 81.
Are we sure this isn't Mr. Miyagi? Maybe he just
literally it's Mr. Miyagi.
I think he is, yeah.
What's someone who's 80 called? Like an octogenarian?
Octogenarian.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah, so whoa, hold on. What is this? It's like an octogen ninja.
It's just octogen ninja. When he was arrested, he said that he simply did not wish to work, and believed that if he was a younger man, he could have been a professional robber and would have been fine.
What do you mean? He
that
was already a
is-
professional robber.
I mean, he did it 250 times. Like
He was
There's-
rarely caught on surveillance cameras, leading police to suspect local residents of his burglaries. So they literally blamed it on other people because he was
they
impossible
couldn't
to
know.
catch.
Yeah,
And they're
Holy
honestly
crap.
looking at the references. Here's an underutilized thing in Wikipedia. References. There's only 8 total references, and most of them are local news articles.
So he really has stayed out of the spotlight.
Why does nobody talk about this guy?
Nobody knows about this dude. He was that good that even he kept his legacy a secret.
You ever heard of like the perfect crime could have already been done and no one would know because it
This
was
is
a
it.
perfect crime?
Well, yeah. This is the perfect criminal, except that he got caught. But apart from that again, if he hadn't been 80 years old, he probably wouldn't have. Okay, I'm gonna
Yeah,
be
honestly, if he
honest.
started sooner, I think he could
was
have done it.
that good. I think if he was like 20 or 30, he was unstoppable. Like it's
Maybe he was doing it from the ages of 20 or 30, and he's just covering his tracks.
Did we already talk about the fact that he dressed like a ninja while doing this?
Yes, literally dressed all in black.
That's
with,
so
like,
cool.
the ninja style with the mask and all that stuff.
dude, if I'm gonna be a burglar in Japan, I'm not doing it any other way. I'm gonna be honest. I'm like, like,
Guys, I know what we're gonna do today.
Hey, Deep Lore Boys field trip?
Let's go to
mhm.
Japan.
Let's go to Japan.
Uh-oh.
This is a pretty quick one. To kind of, I'm gonna piggyback on the old people doing funny stuff real quick. This is the 2 very short articles.
Old people doing funny stuff. Speaking of octogen ninjas,
Let's go.
We
Let's
got-
go
we
to
got
hell.
another one.
I've got an octogen noodle brain here we can talk about. Look at this goober.
Let's go to Hell Haig Priest. This is very quick, just like the last one.
Hail who?
Hell Haig
Haig.
Priest, or Harry, as he liked to be called. This man was a Olympic diver in the 1920 Summer Olympics. So in 1920, the original Olympic symbol was revealed. So the Olympics didn't really have this kind of like symbol, but we all know it as
5 rings.
the 5 rings. We all the interlocking rings.
Yeah.
We see it everywhere. Every 2 years, really, we see it. We know what it's from. But until the 1920 Antwerp Olympics, it wasn't a thing. They kind of made it up then. And
Okay.
he won a bronze medal for a high diving event, and then was dared by one of his friends to climb up the flagpole and steal the original Olympic flag. And
Oh,
he
no.
just did it.
Yeah.
And he didn't get
Okay.
caught. Now, here's the thing. In 1997, somebody do the math. How many years is that? 1920
Wait,
to
1920 to
1997.
1997, 77.
years later. Yeah.
77 years later, the Olympic flag was never found. But at a banquet by the U.S. Olympic Committee, a reporter was interviewing him, and the reporter mentioned that the IOC, the original Olympic flag, had not been seen, had not been able to find out what happened to it for 77 years. And Hal said, I can help you with that.
What?
And he goes, it's in my suitcase.
Wait, so he didn't plan this. This was just like he was being interviewed and was like, "Oh, the original. Oh, yeah. I think I have that in my
he
suitcase."
said it like matter of factly. He was like, actually, I can help you with that. It's in my suitcase. And he just pulls it out in a banquet. And he's like, here it is.
Okay, to put this in
What?
perspective, he was 103 at the time.
What at the time of this?
Yep.
I like this image of him holding the flag just proudly, like
He
displaying it.
looks
It's
so
like,
proud
yeah.
of himself.
For
It's like you guys
77
just
years.
got pranked.
For 77 years, the flag was stored away at the bottom of his suitcase. The flag was returned to the International Olympic Association by Priest, then 103 years old, in a special ceremony held at the 2000 Summer Olympics in Sydney. At the handover, the president of the Olympics, Juan Antino Samaranch, I'm sorry if I butchered that, gave him a commemorative Olympic medal in a box. The hard of hearing priest responded with, what is this, Kleenex? Freaking legend. I love this man.
Oh my gosh.
Dude.
This guy, I thought we
Oh,
had found
man.
the prankster of all time with Barry
Oh my
Bremen, but
gosh. Hal
Now
Haig
we just
might
found
take the
another
cake.
one.
you have to see the picture of him, though.
The picture's
The
incredible.
picture goes so hard.
He's just so proud of himself.
As he should be, man.
Well, the thing is, he strikes me as looking like he almost doesn't even like know what he's doing or where he is, or maybe he does, but he just doesn't care a lot. So he wasn't
I
like,
feel like he doesn't really care, yeah.
I don't feel like he realized like
He's
how
just
big of a
very-
deal this was.
At the time of his death, he was 104, which made him the world's oldest former Olympic medalist. And he was also the first known Olympian whose lifespan covered 3 centuries because he lived in the 1800s all the way until the
Oh, wow.
2000s.
That's incredible.
yeah,
Wow.
1896 to 2001.
Literally gave the flag back and died a year later.
It was his
What a
life
fella.
work.
What is the pizza meter? That has me really, really interested.
Do you want to know about the pizza meter?
The pizza meter refers
So-
to
so-
sudden increases of pizza orders for Domino's from the U.S. government offices such as the White House and the Pentagon, usually before a big event,
Yes.
such as the
What?
Iraqi
Wait.
invasion of Kuwait, the
Yep.
Panama invasion, and
So apparently,
What?
So okay, whoa, you guys jumped into this. Okay, so
Sorry,
apparently,
sorry.
no, I love it. Apparently, this guy owned a bunch of Domino's around like Washington D.C., and he started noticing that his sales would skyrocket right before major events. He actually reported it. He like called the news and was like, "Hey, I think I can predict when things are gonna happen."
And it seems like
And-
an invasion is going to happen. Like it
The
seems
news-
that every
The news took it and like ran with it. And since that reporting, he's never seen a spike since.
no.
So the theory is that now
They're going to Papa John's. That must be what's
no.
They must have
How
found
dare
another
they.
pizza place. Yeah, I mean,
No, I think there's just an order now that you can't order from the same spot. Because one store would get like, okay, look at this. Additionally, within the same day, between 10 p.m. and 2 p.m. at the White House, 55 pizzas were delivered there.
the White House got 55 pizzas, and then the next day they turn around and invade a country.
And
They're
the
just like,
Pentagon had 101.
what?
Oh,
How much pizza are they eating? Oh man, guys, time to gear up for invasion. Pizza party. They're like, just like, man.
did you guys
They're
ever
working.
have those nights? Like, it was typically like a winter night, like
When
January,
you were planning an
February, when you were,
invasion of
like,
a foreign country with
Dude,
the boys.
those were the best nights.
Yeah.
Not exactly,
Had a few
but
of 'em.
you would like, it was winter, January, February, sometimes even like December, and you'd stay up late on like a Friday night when you're like 10, just like watching Cartoon Network. Your family would order pizza, and you just sort of like chill.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
that's what
I
these
had
people
plenty
were
of
doing
those.
just in their offices.
Something like that.
Except also, instead of watching Cartoon Network, they were looking for good places to invade the Middle East. Like,
So the government was like, hold on, this isn't good. We don't want the public knowing what we're doing. So then they started just spreading out their orders and ordering from more local joints instead of just Domino's.
can you imagine being like the president and you're like, well, guys, can't get pizza from Domino's anymore.
Are you getting a
they do
memo
that,
from the
like,
president
"Darn
of
it,
the United States?
we can't get pizza. As of next
So-
week, we're switching to Chinese food. We need to, like,
On the see also thing here, it says Waffle House Index.
Do you not know what that is,
informal
Jackson?
metric to rate
Oh, yeah.
disaster severity.
Jackson, are you? I've talked about this. Okay, you
love
should
the
be
Waffle.
aware of
This is very similar.
I've spoken
Okay, so
of this many
I'll explain the
times.
Waffle House Index in a nutshell because this is one that I've been wanting to bring up for a while. There are 3 different levels, and it basically rates how bad a storm is. Like down south, where they get hurricanes and whatnot. Green is the Waffle House is open, full menu, restaurant has power, damage is minimum or absent. Yellow is the Waffle House has a limited menu, power is either absent or delivered by a generator, food supplies might be running low. But you know the storm is getting really bad if the Waffle House is ever closed.
It's a shame.
That indicates severe damage or flooding. and destruction to the restaurant, because if the restaurant has most of its walls, they will stay open. That's
That
Waffle
literally,
House.
they don't care. Like the roof could get ripped off, and they're like, the oven working? They're like, we just like they don't really care.
How's the skillet?
Skillet still works, boss. Yeah, really. It says the Waffle
Hey,
House index
wow.
rarely reaches the red level. Like the building has to be literally.
Yeah, no, I don't
Look,
think that
okay.
red level is reached often. Like,
No, on the Wikipedia, there's a picture of the remains of a Waffle House in Mississippi after Hurricane Katrina, and it's just 4 chairs, the sign, and no walls. Like,
was that a code
Oh.
red? Was that it?
Oh yeah, I
That,
guess
it
I
looks
think
like
it
it was
was.
red. I'd be surprised.
imagine, like, in the apocalypse, Waffle Houses become, like, the safe haven. Because, you know, everybody in there can fight. Like,
Absolutely.
the employees are trained.
Oh, so here's the
Waffle House
other
is
thing
just
though.
the
They
gulag.
prepare a certain menu in case like their power does go out.
Really?
So they're prepared.
The
like-
emergency reserves?
Like a lot of people like really they think of Waffle House as being like this like sloppy, like badly managed place. And like, yeah, some of them are definitely less than desirable locations. But that being said, like they are prepared for emergencies though. Like they got the logistics down.
Dude, what do they consider an emergency though? Like that's the thing. Like they're prepared for the extreme. Okay, like
I think they're prepared for what the
Emergencies are
public
irrelevant.
considers an emergency, but to them,
yeah, like to
Yeah,
them it's
no
just a
big deal.
normal day. Like they don't really care.
like in any other job, you could probably use a hurricane as an excuse to not go into work. But with Waffle House, that's like all hands on deck.
That's when they're most popular.
Hey again, it's Jesse. Hope you enjoyed this episode of the Deep Lore Boys podcast. If you had fun, please share this episode with one of your non-reptilian friends, and we'll see you next time. Until then, I hope your day is nothing short of interesting. Take care.
I'm gonna go post that one on Twitter.com.